China's economic growth moderated to 7% in the first half of this year. Some say the economy is faced with significant downward pressure, while a U.S. scholar says there is little evidence that China's economy is slowing.
I think China's medium-term growth potential is still in the neighborhood of 7 to 8%. I do not agree with those people who say, from here on out, China's long-term growth is going to be 3 or 4% or maybe even less. And I say that, of course, conditional on further fundamental economic reform occurring in China.
On August the 11th, China's central bank decided to let the market have a greater say in forming the yuan central parity rate against the U.S. dollar. China's forex reserves fell by a record $93.9 billion in August, partly due to heavy spending to support the yuan exchange rate. The sharp fall in reserves has raised questions on whether China's reserves are sustainable if the current spending pace continues. But LARDY says the Chinese central bank's move is nothing to worry about.
So if they'd wanted to use the exchange rate to boost economic growth, they should have done it a long time ago. And secondly, they should have depreciated by a lot more than the roughly 3% that has happened so far. A 3% depreciation will not have a measurable effect on China's exports.
Other analysts say the moderation of China's growth is somewhat like growing pains, as China makes the adjustment from an investment-led economy to a consumption-led economy.
China has had to make an adjustment from an investment-led economy, much as Japan, Korea, Singapore, Taiwan had to do in their days of rapid industrialization, to one led by services and consumption. And what we're seeing now is one of the pains of doing that, which is to get stability in the economy. China linked effectively the renminbi to the dollar.
At the recent summer Davos forum held in northeast China, Premier Li Keqiang reassured investors that China is not headed for a hard landing. Some analysts say China's contributions to the world's economy cannot be underestimated, even though the pace of growth seems to be slowing.
China has maintained its growth rate when Europe, Japan, and the U.S. have had big economic difficulties in the period after 2008. China has been so important for the rest of the world that it has contributed, depending upon how you measure it, between a quarter and a third of the total growth of GDP in the last 5 years. That's really critical to the other countries of the world. So that may be the single most important thing that China can do.